I remember crawling through the door, blood everywhere, and seeing my mum cleaning. She saw me and screamed.
You know, the Royal Marines training is hard physically. You get smashed every day, you know, relentlessly for the entire time that you're there.
I remember that moment of crawling and thinking, I'm going to die. I've got to get out of it. I have to change my lifestyle. I've got to go.
Today's video is sponsored by Mulliganbrothers.com, where you can buy the Inspire Change t-shirt, all linked down below, and it helps support these projects. Thank you for all your support. You can also become a member with the join button down below. Before that, let's jump into the video.
My name's Mark, Billy Billingham, better known as Billy. I'm an ex-military guy. I spent over 27, actually probably about 32 years in the military. I was in the parachute regiment for 9 years. I spent the rest of the time in 22 SES, Special Air Service. And then after that I became a head of security to a number of A-list celebrities, including Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie. I worked with Tom Cruise, Sir Michael Caine, Kate Moss, DMX, just to name a few.
My name is Aldo Kane. I'm a former Royal Marine Commando and I now run a company operating in extreme, remote and hostile locations around the world. Because I wanted to join the Marines from like 13 or 14, by the time it came to joining up, like I knew inside out what training was, what was happening in what week, and the only bit that I didn't know was whether my body would be physically strong enough to complete it. You know, my head game was good. I knew that's what I wanted to do, and it's the longest infantry training in the world. It's 30 odd weeks, so it's quite a long time, and it's very intense. You know, there's hardly any days off through the whole process, and every week is like a culling phase, you know, getting rid of dead wood in the troop. So out of maybe 50 people that join, 50 men that join, then at the end of it there might be 7 or 8 that finish it.
So what was that first experience like at war? Like what was your first experience?
Northern Ireland, you know, and it was, at the time, back then in the 80s, Northern Ireland was, it was bad. You know, there was stuff going on the mainland, there was stuff going on in Northern Ireland, people were getting killed, getting blown up, and the enemy, if you like, if that's what we want to call them, were not face-to-face enemy. They were cowards. It was people, you don't know who you're up against. So, you know, the odds were all stacked against you. And I always used to think to myself, I know we're getting trained, I know we're going to get trained irely and it's going to be to the best we can be, but you've really got to be lucky every day. They only have to be lucky once. And I knew that, so I was always on my toes. So it was nerve-wracking. It kept you alert, didn't get you complacent. You know, you've got to be on your toes every minute you step out of that door. Even when you're indoors, you know, there was chances of getting mortared or whatever. So without painting a dull, crazy picture, it was, you had to stay switched on. It was an intense time.
You know, the Royal Marines training is hard physically. You get smashed every day, you know, relentlessly for the entire time that you're there. But as a young man, you're fairly robust, you're fairly resilient to that sort of training. If your mindset is good. You know, of 50 people that start, let's say 10 finish, not all of those 40 that don't make it have physical injuries. You know, the majority of those probably just don't have the minerals to finish the course. And that's because, you know, there's a big lesson there in anything that you do. If the why isn't big enough, then you'll never have the drive, the determination to get out of bed early and finish that thing. And so let's say I just say, I'm going to join the Marines, there's nothing else going on, like my apprenticeship's finished, and you get down there and you're in week 10 and you're getting smashed. And you're, you know, cold, wet, hungry, tired, then it's very easy to just stick your hand up and say, I'm sacking it off. Whereas if that's all you've wanted to do, and that is your end state, is to get there, then, like for me, in those hard times, I was in my absolute element. I was living my dream. It's hard to explain it, but I had this, like, fire inside my stomach that I was doing the thing that I wanted to do, and it was such an amazing feeling, and I feel lucky that I found that early on, because it shaped the rest of my life.
I enjoyed it, not the conflict. I enjoyed the decision making. I'm very much a crisis manager. I'm pretty quick on my feet, thinking up, get a decision and go. I hate planning. I hate sitting back and think. The more you think about something, the more you tie yourself in knots, the more problems you throw into it. The longer you got to plan it. What if the enemy's got this? What if that? What if that? What if the meteorite falls out the sky and lands? And you can go on forever. I like quick reaction, and my first time of conflict allowed me to realise actually I can think on my feet, and when the situation changes and ain't as clear as we thought it was going to be, I can make a decision. War is strange. It's nasty and it's strange. And you've got to now be able to think fast on your feet and can't just become all of aggressive and go for this. It's about changing. We live in a world of ramping up and ramping down sort of scenarios, because someone's out there trying to kill you. You've got to step it up to stop that. But in the middle of that, all of a sudden there's a family and bang, you've got to back off a bit and find another solution. You're thinking all the time. It's a lot going on and it's challenging, and yeah, I enjoyed the challenges. I enjoyed it, I didn't enjoy what the situation was, people getting killed and shit, but I enjoyed having to think and come up with a solution that's for the better.
The stakes are high, but it's also testing you mentally and physically, testing me mentally and physically, and that's what I enjoy. I enjoy those high stakes, but it's not about taking risks, it's about controlling hazards. It's about controlling them and controlling the risk of things happening and being as prepared as you can be, so that when the curveball hits you, you eventually you can deal with it or not deal with it, however it turns out.
There's always surreal moments. There's always something different. It never, ever, I'll be honest with you, and I've done a lot of operational stuff, mainly with the regiment, but also with the parachute regiment. It's never, ever gone to plan. Never, ever. It goes to plan in terms of we got the right result, but what each stage we plan for, out the window. Normally from the moment you either step off the helicopter, step out of your vehicle, parachute into the place, everything changes.
The military part of my life is, I owe almost everything to it, because it's given me the confidence and the ethos and the courage of my own convictions to do what I want to do now. It certainly doesn't, the military part doesn't mean I'm any better at anything than anyone else, but I think in my own head and confidence, I know that I passed one of the hardest infantry training in the world at the age of 16. That means, in my head I have this confidence that, I can do most things. I just haven't been taught most of them, or if someone teaches me something, then I'm very focused and dialed on learning that thing.
I enjoyed it while I was there. I knew it was a time frame that you could do this for, and I just wanted to get as much as I possibly could out of it. Keep going back and doing whatever it might be, and not always in conflict. Sometimes it was in natural disaster type stuff, but helping, getting out there, doing some different situation, thinking on your feet and making a difference. That's what it was all about, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
The stakes are high, but it's also testing you mentally and physically, testing me mentally and physically, and that's what I enjoy. I enjoy those high stakes, but it's not about taking risks, it's about controlling hazards. It's about controlling them and controlling the risk of things happening and being as prepared as you can be, so that when the curveball hits you, you eventually you can deal with it or not deal with it, however it turns out.
Listen, if you want to be something, go out and do it, or try and do it at least. And even if and I always say this, you set him a goal of being a world champion boxer. I'm going for it. No way am I going to meet it. But you know what? I won a Staffordshire title, and I won that title. Did a lot better than I thought I would do, because I went for it. So don't talk about it, do it.
All of this has been made possible by people supporting us at Mulliganbrothers.com, where you can buy the Inspire Change t-shirts, Hardest Work in the Room t-shirts. The new journals just come out as well. And becoming a member of the channel with the join button down below. It's only made possible with your support. It's a very costly business. Flying film crews and becoming a film studio was very difficult to do. And with your support, it's been made possible. And with your continued support, we will continue to make inspiring content. That is our goal: inspiring films, documentaries, and content. That's it. So yeah, thank you so much for all that support. And guys, if you want to see what I get up to on a day-to-day business of running this business, my day-to-day routine, my workouts, my nutrition, how I make these film projects and direct these film projects, and how we make the documentaries that we're making at the moment, Go follow me on Instagram. It's at Jordan Mulligan Brother. Say hello and just see what I get up to on a day-to-day basis. I do appreciate it. Have a blessed and productive day. I hope you gained something from this video. If you did, drop a comment down below. Love you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a blessed and productive day. Go inspire some change. Peace.